Hi and welcome to the Orry Mill. I'm Thilde. I would like to talk to you about what we sell and why we sell it. In this episode I'm going to talk about Petite Knit. You're probably very familiar with some of these patterns. We sell an awful lot of them and yeah, there is a reason why, I think. Petite Knit is a girl called Mette. She's Danish. So I'm Danish too, so obviously a little bit biased here, but I find that, yeah, she really embodies kind of Danish design or Scandinavian aesthetics. She now has over 300 designs for all ages, yeah, right from babies up to really large men's sizes. So yeah, there's really something for everyone here. She has this, when I was talking about kind of Danish design, what that really embodies is like a beautiful kind of simplistic design, not too frilly. It has to be functional as well. It also have to have quality. So I think her patterns really embodies that. A lot of them are very simplistic, but you also find kind of patterns with a lot of cables, and yeah, I think they're really, really stylish. They're really practical. I find that a lot of them can be used like some everyday garments, and also if you add, so let's say you knit a strand of a normal yarn with a strand of mohair, suddenly they become this kind of soft, fluffy, very luxurious garment. So you can use them for kind of, yeah, a wedding. Kind of, there's cardigans that I would definitely use for a wedding if it were knitted with the mohair in it, or you can use like some alpaca if you're allergic to mohair. But yeah, they can become very fluffy. I will also say kind of cozy comfort. You get, it kind of oozes, the designs oozes of that. But yeah, I really just kind of love them. They're very well written patterns. Obviously the quality depends on what kind of yarn you're choosing, but most kind of woolen yarns, I would say, suits these patterns really well. She works with Sandnes Garn, and we have some of that in, and she even have, this is actually not one, but she has got in the PetiteKnit range, for example, she's got her own colourways. So let me just grab one. And you can actually see there is the wee Petite Knit on the ball band. So she has her own kind of colourways in some of the Sandnes Garn kind of qualities. So the PetiteKnit, the double Sunday, the Sunday. Yes, the PetiteKnit she's using an awful lot, especially in kind of kids and, yeah, ladies and gents. But also I find that if you're feeling that the PetiteKnit might be a little bit too scratchy for you, the Pure DK from WYS Spinners is really good as a substitute. It knits up really similar to the double Sunday from Sandnes as well. So both are really lovely qualities. But yes, so we have an awful lot of patterns from Petite Knit. So there is some that are more popular than others. For example, the Anker's sweater, like this. I have it knitted up. I think I've knitted about 7 of them so far. I think all my nieces and nephews got one. They are very stylish and very easy to knit. So if you're maybe not a complete beginner, but if you have knitted a little bit and know your knits and purls, this one shouldn't be too difficult for you. Again, it does require that you knit on circular needles. So if you're not familiar with circular needles, I suggest you go and practice. Some of the patterns that's best to start off with is the Novice patterns, and they come in quite a few different patterns here. So you got a sweater, you actually got a couple of cardigans as well. The sweater will be the easiest one to do, but you got your cardigans. They also have the Novice, they have the Novice slipover for kids, the Novice slipover for men. Again, the Novice slipover for ladies are also maybe a good starting point. I've had a couple of beginners doing that one as their first garment project. It does require you to pick up stitches, but likewise if you're doing the sweater, you'll be doing increases. They're not too difficult, to be honest. You don't have what's called short rows in these patterns, which makes some patterns a bit more difficult. So they're fairly straightforward patterns. So if you're doing a first garment, the Novice series is really good. It's a really good starting point. Again, the Anker series is also not a bad one as some of the first ones to work. Again, there's so many popular ones. Another one that's really popular is this cloud sweater. It's knitted with the COS from Sandnes. I'll just grab a ball of that. So this kind of fluffy. The Novice sweater is also knitted in this. It's a nice alpaca yarn. So just kind of reading. So yeah, 62 alpaca, 9 wool and 29 nylon. You have a very similar one from Rowan as well, which is the softest alpaca that has been so popular. That one is actually softer than this one. For some of the, so I think for the cloud one, you also have to, you have to hold this together with a mohair. For the normal Novice sweater, you just knit with one strand of that, so that makes it easier. If you go into the chunkier version of the Novice sweater and the cardigan, you'll have to hold this together with a mohair. But you'll find that a lot of the Petite Knit patterns, you're holding a yarn, for example a 4-ply yarn with a mohair to get that luxurious fluffiness. There's also, in the Novice series, you have the mohair edition, and you sometimes have the mohair editions in the other of her patterns. This one is knitted with 2 strands of mohair, which makes it really nice and fluffy, and it's actually not very difficult to knit with 2 strands together. It's definitely something I would recommend that you try out. I find that if you're using more than one colour, the colours blend really interestingly together. So it's a really fun way of experimenting with colour and texture. I've also had these ones here, which is the mohair edition, where they're knitting with 2 strands of mohair, that you can actually take 1 strand of a 4-ply and then 1 strand of a mohair. It makes it maybe a little bit easier if you're going to have to kind of work back in your work. So if you have to rib out and stuff like that, it's easier to rib out if 1 strand is a kind of a normal yarn rather than 2 strands of mohair, because the mohair does start to kind of felt a little bit together. But yes, this is really, I think they're just beautiful patterns. Another one that has been really popular is the Storm sweater. It's kind of a textured, you're kind of knit and purl textures in the pattern. It does work from a chart, so you'll have to, if you're not already familiar with working from a chart, you'll have to kind of start learning how to do that. I have some customers who really dislike the charts, so they sit and write out the chart into words. So that takes a little bit of time, but it works for them. So that's another way. If you really dislike the chart, take some time and write it out, and then you can get going. So again, all Petite Knit patterns are top down. So it starts from the neck and works your way down. And why would you do that? If you're not familiar with top down, one of the main things are there's no sewing up. So if you're one of these people who really, really dislike sewing up your garments, the Petite Knit patterns are really for you. Also other knitwear designers who does top down. So another thing that's really great about top down is that you can try it on as you go. So when you have knitted maybe the yoke or the top of your garment, you can really try it on and see, does it fit? Do I need to at this point maybe rip it out, start again, knit a bigger size, change my tension or something. But you can very quickly get that idea whether you need to change something. Whereas if you're knitting in the traditional way, which is in pieces and sewing up, you don't really know until you have sewn the full garment together. So that's really good. Again, you can get the perfect length of your garment, the perfect sleeve length, because you can try it on as you go. I would actually recommend, if you're doing these top down ones, to get the stitch holder wires. We got the Petite Knit ones. They're really inexpensive and they're really a game changer. I found when I first got them, they were just, actually I didn't know how clever they were. It's because it's a tube, you can stick them on your needle and you can basically just slide your stitches over, so they go over really quick and easy. And then in the Petite Knit stitch wire, yeah. So the most popular pattern from Petite Knit is the Sophie Scarf. You can knit this in any wool. I have seen it knitted up in the Pure DK, really lovely. I have knitted the Sophie shawl here in the Rowan Kit Classic. You can see that's slightly fluffy because it's got mohair in it. You can do a 4-ply with a strand of mohair. It's really, it's just brilliant. It's brilliant for a wee present. You only really need a ball of wool for the small size. If you, for example, wanted to do the bigger size of them, you do need 2 balls. So it's actually really good for if you got a ball left over from a sweater project. Just knit up a wee Sophie Scarf. You can gift it to someone. You can also, if you're not sure about a yarn, just do a wee test, because obviously it sits around your neck. So you'll very, very quickly see, can I wear this yarn? So if you were thinking about doing a big jumper in something, do a wee Sophie Scarf, see how it feels, instead of trying to invest a lot in a jumper project that you then turn out that you might not want to wear because it might be too itchy or something like that. So yeah, the Sophie Scarf is just really a great pattern. It is by far the best seller in here. So yes, that was just a little bit about Petite Knit and why we love it in the shop. Yeah, so I would highly recommend that you give it a go. Yeah, so you can like and subscribe these videos and leave a wee comment below if you wish so. So, bye.